for the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Thank you very much for your time. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Fernand. How are you, please? Good morning to your cherished listeners.
I'm doing well. And Dr. SHAFIC SULEMAN was in our studio just a few days ago. This morning, like while was having the discussion I indicated to you that the TUC had indicated that they were going to hold a press conference on the matter. They're asking for, one, the suspension of the tariff increases you have announced. Two, that you exhaust the consultative process. Would you suspend?
Well, good morning once again to your cherished listeners and everybody in the studio and all Ghanaians, especially the cherished consumer of the various utilities we have in Ghana. And the fact that we are working for the interests of the consumer and then the interests of the utilities. So far, so good. The utilities are up to date and they are making and doing all what they can to make the services available to the consumer, and they're also working hard to improve the quality of service for the consumer. And then so far, the Ghanaian consumer is also very diligent, and we are working together to ensure that their consumption is not too expensive or is not overboard for them, or the affordability is not beyond their capacity. So it's a win-win situation. And then PURC, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, is also being mindful of this very important balance between the consumer and the utilities. And that's our mandate, to balance these two, keep up with investment, and also ensure that the consumer is not overburdened with high tariffs that they cannot sustain. I told you from the beginning when we had this conversation, even the inception of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, from the 1997 onwards, has been a bedrock and active work of the Trade Union Congress and then the Association of Ghana Industries. And I've again gone ahead to indicate to you, they even have a board representation, and it's constant. It's enshrined in the Act at 538 of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. So too, from the beginning, we've been working with the TUC, and in fact, when we started this tariff consultation, we engaged everybody, including a separate session we had for the public the trade union, to engage them and let the various utilities make presentations to them, let them understand the requirements that the utilities were requesting for. And it was clear from the onset that the numbers or the percentages the utilities were requesting for were above the roof. And we took all these considerations, all their concerns together, and we kept all of them in the arriving of the final decision. So, I mean, as I said, consultation is not one day or one-time event. As you can see, I mean, I spoke to you. This is the third time I'm speaking to you. We are consulting. We are educating ourselves. We are constantly engaging so that we can improve our understanding of issues. So we've met TUC, and then TUC is part of the board or the commissioners of PURC, and TUC has been one of our top priority stakeholders. So the engagement should not stop. It will continue until we arrive at a very amicable and a win-win situation for both of us. I mean, so it's an engagement that we are not going to stop, even though we have previously engaged them extensively, and then we are willing to engage further. Yeah.
But they said in order for this engagement to happen, you must first suspend the tariff increments you have announced. Can you do that? Or will you do that?
That's what I'm saying. We've had an engagement before, just like we've had with the other stakeholders, including the media the CSOs. We had a separate session for TUC, a separate conversation with them, and then everything was properly agreed, not agreed, discussed with them, and then we had a consensus out of that engagement. Yes, but we would continue to have engagement, but a decision has been made. We are looking at the future as well, and also we are also looking at the sustainability of the utilities. So we will continue the engagement. Yeah.
Okay, so you're ready to continue engagement because they are concerned. In fact, when it comes to their response to the issue of them having a representative on the commission is that it's a minority representation, that their representative can raise concerns, but when it comes to voting, he or she will be outvoted. So that cannot be basis to say that they are amply represented and that their views were taken into consideration. Do you agree?
No, it's too difficult to agree because in the process of arriving at a tariff, every commissioner has a strong fundamental interest from the beginning. When we get to the final decision-making process, every commissioner still has a very strong interest. Voting comes in when it is very, very, very tight. The decision parameters are beyond or are very tight. Let me put it that way. You know, when boards engage and at a point where they need to make a decision where the chairman has to bring in a casting vote, I mean, you know, at that point it means that it's a very critical issue. I can tell you that the whole process has been smooth. I mean, we didn't get to a point where there's an excessive tie that needs to be to push us to a voting point. But as I said, it's a consultation process. We are consulting. I mean, we are engaging. We've engaged even the minority side of parliament. We've engaged the majority side of parliament. We've engaged the Parliamentary Select Committee on Energy, on Finance, on Water and Sanitation. So everybody that matters in this consultation process has been consulted, and it's on record. This is the first time that the Commission has done extended consultation on a matter. But as you are aware, I mean, there's a point where agitation still needs to continue, and if respectfully, we need to all. It's not easy. Let me put it that way, Tana. It's not easy at all, and we are in the process of ensuring that we build proper consensus. TUC is a critical part of the country. It's a very critical part of the utility sector, and they are having extended workers within all the senior staff, junior staff within the commission, and all the utilities have TUC representation working diligently for the success of the commission. And I'm sure they are aware the investment requirement that the sector requires. If not, the sector collapses. I can assure you that if the TUC worker or staff or members that would even be the main people to face most of the challenges. And we are all looking at the successes of the sector and ensuring that the sector is sustainable, especially with the investment required. I mean, and it's even having a rippling effect on the workers who are the members of TUC.
So you do.
If the sector is not viable, or if the lights out are going on and off, investments are very low, there's a lot of stress in the workers, worker morale. There's a lot of stress, and even the output we are putting in is affecting the other sectors of the economy, like production and also service provision, which is also having the TUC worker there or members there. You see, so it's a rippling effect that goes across all the sectors of the economy, of which TUC is a strong member and is a strong representative across all those sectors. So you take the agriculture sector, you take the mining sector, you take the services sector, which TUC has strong representation across all those areas. You take the water sector. So and we are aware of the required investment. So I know the agitation will continue, but we must also look at the overall interest of the economy, the overall interest of even the people, the workers. We are protecting their interest. So you imagine the last time. So if we power stability or power instability continues in the country, it leads to a reduction of about 3% growth in the GDP. It's huge. So these are the issues that we have to all look at and forge ahead.
It seems you are suggesting that what you have proposed is reasonable, and that you considered all of these issues that even the TUC is raising, whether it will be affordable to the Ghanaian among others. Yes, still they are protesting. And you see, you're suggesting that you're also still suggesting that you still anticipated that there was going to be pushback.
Yes.
So you expected this?
The tariff setting process it's not an easy process. It has always been like that. I mean, and it's the way we are. It's always been a very frantic and a tedious and requires some high level of consultation and meticulous consultation. Aside the numbers, aside looking at what goes into the calculation, I mean the economics and the financing, the other most important factor is the consultation. And as I'm saying, this is the first time that the Commission has done extended consultation. We have about, we've consulted about 10 regions. It has never happened before. What we usually do is to divide the country into two, the southern zone and the northern zone. And we just go meet the northern zone in one session and come and meet the southern zone in another session. And that ends the public consultation. But this time around, we gave each region a listening ear. We went to every region, all the 10 traditional regions, and listened to everybody, collected data, gauge the interest of the consumer, and work with something much more reasonable to the detriment of the utility provided. For example, Ghana Water wanted about 280% adjustment in the water tariff. So for example, the current tariff is about 5 cedi per m cube of water, right? They were requesting for 20 cedis per m cube of water for the lifeline. But what this adjustment has done is to just increase the 5 cedi by 15%. So from about the 5 cedi to 6 cedis. That's what this adjustment has done. Instead of giving Ghana Water 20 cedis requested for from 5 cedis, we rather considered looking at all the factors and adjusted it by just 6 cedis, some experts. And the same amount of water, if you want to buy it from the vendors or from the roadside, is For example, that cube of water is equal to almost 1,000 liter of the polytan. That's just for 6 cities, from the adjustment of 5 cities to 6 cities. So what Ghana Water requested for, they didn't get that. They didn't get that high request of 280%. Yes, and they need to do investments. Their investment cut across the value chain. They need to do investment in water, water production, transporting the water or transmitting the water through pipelines, changing their pipeline, and even processing the water, the chemicals they need to buy and all that. So these are all the contributions. And I can assure you, both Ghana Water and the utilities are also saying that the tariff is highly inadequate to sustain their investment going into the future. See, so it's a balance, and it's a very tough balance that we are working with.
Mm. So pressure from both sides. What did you say? You consulted the minority?
Yes.
Should I read to you? This is the Daily Guide. And it says, and he held a press conference yesterday. It says, according to the caucus, electricity tariffs have surged by 28.14% within a short period, despite what they describe as persistent inefficiencies and losses within the power sector. The minority said it was unacceptable for government to impose higher costs on consumers when technical and commercial losses remain at 32%. A situation they said drains the sector of between $80 million and $90 million based on current energy pricing. With the country's normal demand averaging 3,500 megawatts and peak demand recently reaching 4,080 megawatts, the MPs argued that the scale of losses, which is equivalent to between 1,120 megawatts and 1,305 megawatts, reflects a severe managerial failure that government has refused to confront. How do you respond to that?
Okay, so that's more of an issue related to the distribution of power.
Yes, the losses that you need to confront the losses that if you did, you will not be imposing these increases on the average Ghanaian.
No, so that's why I'm saying that even to improve or to work on the losses will require investment. Because the technical losses, for instance, the meters, issues of power tech, issues of transformer losses, the boundary meters that are intended to come in to help meter all the power that goes into communities, all will require investment. And the investment must be adequate enough to reflect improvement in the services. All what we are pushing for going forward is to ensure whatever resources are given to the power utilities or electricity company of Ghana should be used judiciously to the best interest of the Ghanaian consumer. In addition to that, we know of the historical challenges of ECG, issues of unnecessary procurement from the previous government, unnecessary procurement, non-declaration of even financing that goes into the cash waterfall. Then all has stopped. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama coming with the research agenda and the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Honorable Dr. Abdullah Jinapo. John, they come with massive discipline and resetting the power sector. And we have seen tremendous improvement. For instance, the cash waterfall previously, ECG will collect the revenues. That's the first thing. And even in the allocation, they will allocate. But things have changed. The cash waterfall has quadrupled from almost 900 million Ghana cedis in a month to almost 1.7 billion in a month collection. And I told you before, the other value chain players, the state entities, we, power, GITCO, NETCO, VRA, they are all beginning to be held accountable for all the value or the money that they get in the value chain. And they are all responding positively to ensuring that they play their role critically. And I said it before, this is the first time that state entities within the power sector are becoming more eager, more responsive, more responsible to the needs of the Ghanaian consumer and ensuring that they deliver power to the Ghanaian consumer. And the commission, the Public Utilities Commission, Regulatory Commission, is also playing a role ensuring that we work with all stakeholders, even holding the utilities accountable, transparent, and responsible to all the issues that the regulator is supposed to hold them accountable to. So within the last 1 year, in terms of the improvement within the sector, unprecedented. I would always say it. As for the research agenda within the power sector, it has come, it has arrived. The improvement is already taking full-fledged. It's now how to sustain it. That's the first thing. And the second thing is going into the future. There will be more pragmatic policies that the government, through His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is putting in place, especially what we call the PPS, that's the Public Sector Participation, PSP, in the power distribution value chain. We are working around it to ensure that we get all parties within the value chain to be able to pay for the power that is being consumed. So you do one thing and you move to another. As I said, from next year onwards, we will have what we call public PSP, private sector participation within the power distribution value chain that can invest in the distribution network. It's not easy. Just imagine the level of distribution lines we have in the country. So we are having a private sector participation in the distribution sector so that they can take full responsibility of ensuring that the technical losses and the commercial losses are minimized. So that's what we are intending to keep going forward. And then other very important leakages within the sector are closed so that the cost and the cost and then the impact it has on the Ghanaian consumer are minimized altogether. So one thing after the other. And I assure you that even the investment that we've approved for the utilities within this MITO, we have built a database of all the investment projects. And we are going to monitor them quarterly to ensure that the money we have approved for the utilities, they use it for those investments. As I said, it's unprecedented. It has never happened before. And we are going to even make it public. All the investments that we have approved for the utilities, we will make them available on our website. Sena, anytime you want, you can go and click on the link and check the status of each of the investments. The status here means that you'll be able to know when the investment, the project commenced, the extent of completion, and the expected date of completion, and even the expected impact on the value chain of power supply. So these are steps, pragmatic steps. And I'm adding this with special interest in water, especially from the His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We are going to look at water value chain very critically too. Ensure that we bring them or we put them onto the what we call the cash waterfall mechanism and monitor their revenues and monitor their activities and ensure that there's improvement and there's progress. That's all what we want. Because the Ghanaian consumer wants the service, especially water. You wake up, you don't get constant flow of water, and then you are charging, or you are being charged a higher tariff. It's not too good for the image of even the commission and the utility providers. So we are all supposed to work together in unison as a unit ensure that the Ghanaian consumer is satisfied. It's provided the services at all times and also at an affordable and not an economically burdensome tariff. And the most important thing, as I keep saying, is to invest in the infrastructure to get the product or the services available to the consumer. And that's anytime we wake up every morning, that's what goes into our minds. How does the Ghanaian consumer get to enjoy water and electricity? If any of these do not get to the consumer, I cannot sleep. I cannot do anything else than to ensure the Ghanaian consumer gets access to these most important services they require.
Doc, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you too.
Dr. SHAFIC Suleman is Executive Secretary, Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. So pressure from both sides, from the consumers who will pay the increases. And he says even those who are supposed to, the utilities were also saying it's a little way less, like too small. Like what they requested for, at least midway will be good, quarter will be good. You've not even gotten to quarter. And so pressure from all sides. Of course, the TUC is leading the charge when it comes